1 minute.
So, Councilman, this agenda item that I've asked you to present the proclamation, when it comes to that item, you'll just go down and present it at the podium.
Go up there?
Yes, and then read the proclamation.
Read all of it?
Yes, you have to read it, yeah. And then those who will be receiving it will be at the podium with you.
Mayor, you're good.
Good morning. Welcome to the City of Palm Coast Hybrid City Council meeting. Today is January 19th, 2021, and it is 9 a.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Holland.
Here.
Councilmember Barbosa.
Here.
Councilmember Danko.
Here.
Councilmember Clufus.
Present.
Vice Mayor Branquino.
Here.
Mayor, all members are present.
Thank you. Now open up to public participation. Any member of the public wishes to speak on agenda items or non-agenda items, please come up to the podium. Please state your name for the record, and your 3 minutes will begin. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Is there a caller that's calling in?
Mom, I raised my hand. I was not heard.
Ma'am, you can speak now.
Yes, my name is Sylvia Puglisi, and I raised my hand when the mayor requested public participation.
You're on now, Celia.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you so much. I'm going to speak in general terms here as a resident, and I want to address our council and mayor. Thank you for letting me speak. I am a little bit distressed regarding our city officials because in general, I wish that they will lobby for us because a little bit more in just few issues, not most of the time, but there are some few plans presented by developers and or contractors that affect our quality of life. And we have begged with passion, we have begged with tears in our eyes, and we have attended all the meetings, and I still don't see the lobbying for us, the residents that elect you to represent us. And it is very sad, that we might need to spend funds that we can hardly afford to get legal teams to represent in front of our elected officials when we oppose some of the very few endangering our quality of life and safety and maybe health projects presented to them for approval. So I am asking, very pleased, to hear us more. Our city officials and the attorney and the administration that these residents pay for. With all due respect, I'm begging you. And I am very sad that we have to go to legal teams and spend our residents' money to oppose these plans that you presented for approval. That's all that I want to say with all due my respect. And I hope this change today and for the future. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else, Doug?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I'll close public participation. I'll go to agenda item number E1 and seek approval of the minutes of December 15, 2020 business meeting, January 5th, 2021 special meeting, January 12th, 2021 workshop.
Make that motion.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Agenda item number F2 is a presentation employee awards recognition. Are you presenting this?
And now we have Renina Fuller this morning here to present.
Okay, great, thank you.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, City Council. It's an honor for me to be here this morning to share a little of the information and achievements and recognitions our employees have been able to receive. First, we got the Finance Department. They have been awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from the Government Finance Officer Association. This Distinguished Budget Award recognizes state and local governments that prepare their budget using the guidelines established by the National Advisory Council on state and local budgeting, as well as the Government Finance Officer's best practice. This award is the highest form of recognition in governmental budgeting. Great job to our finance team. Second, we have our Community Development and Stormwater Engineering Department received the Regional Award of Excellence in Resilience from the Northeast Florida Regional Council for their floodplain and stormwater management program. This award recognizes individuals, organizations, or specific projects that have made positive contributions toward making the region more resilient. A special thank you to Denise Bevins, City Administration Coordinator, and Mike Peel, Stormwater Engineer, for their dedication and commitment to this project. The new SunTrust building on Palm Coast Parkway is in its final stages of completion. The project manager for Marvin Builders, Jeff King, sent us an email wanting us to know how awesome our inspectors are. He particularly mentioned Larry Fitzgerald, Robert Martin, and Damaris Ramirez for their extreme diligence to assist them. His team was very impressed. Mr. King went on to say in his email that throughout his 20-plus years working with public and private municipalities, he does not remember a time where employees worked so hard to assist through the duration and completion of a project. He also stated, and I quote, "The city of Palm Coast must be a great place to work, and it shows with the attitudes and efforts of its employees." Next, we want to recognize one of our employees who's retiring after 14 years of service to the city. Mr. Rick Belota, all the best with his retirement. He served on the Utility Department, Water Treatment Plant Number 2, as Utility Systems Operator 3 for the past 14 years. His commitment, knowledge in the field, and dedication of his work have been appreciated over the years. On behalf of city staff, we want to wish him well as he embarks on the next chapter of his life. Next slide, congratulations to Mary Kronberg, Project Coordinator for the Stormwater and Engineering Department. Mary has earned her Project Management Professional Certification. This is a global credential and one of the most difficult certifications to receive in this field. Also, we want to recognize our recent graduates from Flagler College. Lauren Johnston, Dennis Redkin, Stacy Young have worked very hard and received their bachelor's degree in public administration. Next, we want to have a special thanks to our employees who assisted in the Flagler County Canvassing Board for the 2020 elections. Kate Settle, Kaylee Cook, Kathy Picano, Stacy Davis, Irma Velazquez, Kenya Velasquez, Shanice Buffin, Virginia Smith, Steve Flanagan. Thank you, and we appreciate all you do. I just want to say a big thank you to all of our employees. We know they have worked hard for these accomplishments, and we truly appreciate their dedication. On behalf of the city manager, directors, all department heads, supervisors, and managers, we appreciate everyone's hard work and want to say thank you for being such valuable team members. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. We'll now move to agenda item number 3, which Vice Mayor Branquinho will be reading, a proclamation, January as Stalking Awareness Month. If you can go down to the podium and present.
We can do it from here.
Yeah, you have to. Those that are receiving this proclamation, can you please come forward? Mike.
Once again, as a retired police officer, stalking is something that I've dealt with for a long time, and it's not a pretty sight. Stalking is not just going behind somebody like this. Stalking has a lot more than that. It's got a lot of people scared and all of that. Therefore, I'm going to read this to you. Whereas under the laws, stalking is a crime, and up to 7.5 million people are stalked in a one-year period in the United States, and the majority of the victims are stalked by someone they know. And whereas 3 in 4 women killed by an intimate partner have been stalked by that intimate partner. And many stalking victims are forced to protect themselves by relocating, changing their identities, changing jobs, and obtaining protection orders. And whereas many stalkers use technology such as cell phones, global positioning systems, known as GPS, cameras, and spyware to monitor and track their victims. And where there's need for a great public awareness about the nature, criminality, and the potential lethality of stalking. And whereas criminal justice systems can enhance their response to stalking by regular training and assertive investigation and prosecutions of the crime. And whereas law and public policies must be continually adopted to keep pace with new tactics used by stalkers. Whereas communities can better combat stalking and adopting multidisciplinary responses by teams and local agencies and organizations, and by providing more and better victim services. Whereas Family Life Center is joining forces with victim service providers, criminal justice officials, and concerned citizens throughout Flagler County and the United States to observe National Stalking Awareness Month. And whereas Flagler County Advocate Alliance, comprised of Flagler County Sheriff's Office, Victims Advocates, Flagler Beach Police Department, Victim Advocates, State Attorney Victims Advocate, 7th Judicial Circuit Flagler, and Family Life Center are working together to increase public understanding of this problem and mobilize communities' efforts to end stalking. And therefore be it proclaimed that Palm Coast Mayor and the City Council hereby declare January 2021 as Stalking Awareness Month, and applaud the efforts to the many victims service providers, police officers, prosecutors, national and community organizations, and provide sector supporters for their efforts in promoting awareness about stalking. Signed the 19th of January, this day, 19th of January 2021, by the Mayor of Palm Coast and the Tesh Virginia Smith City Clerk. Okay. Like I said prior, stalking doesn't go well with me, and stalking is not just go after this. Stalking could be deadly, and I've seen cases of that in my 26 years as a police officer and as a detective and as a detective commander. I saw quite a few of those things. So whatever you're doing in this cause, keep on doing, because you need all the help. You never know what psychologically is affecting someone that does that to you. Thank you. I don't know if you have anybody to say anything.
Hello, my name is Gary Perkins, Community Relations Advocate for the Family Life Center. We want to first off thank everyone for their support, and definitely the City Council for helping us create awareness for stalking. I think it's something that's very important in this community. But if anybody has ever any thought that they might have been stalked, or they just want to talk about it and learn more, we do have a 24/7 crisis helpline. You can call that number, text that number, 24/7. Number is 386-437-3505. Again, if you or if you know anybody, our services are free and confidential, and we hope that you guys spread the word.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Agenda item number 4 is a proclamation on Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Councilmember Barbosa will be presenting this. We'll wait. Thank you.
You say you want a picture?
Yeah, we have two, so we're going to be up here again.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Human trafficking is defined as the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, and obtaining of a person for labor or services through use of force, fraud, forcium for the purpose of forced labor or sexual servitude. Human trafficking is a 32 billion year global criminal enterprise and is a crime as well as civil and human rights violations. An estimated 25 million people are currently victims of human trafficking for both sex and labor. And human traffickers prey on their victims by promising a life of hope and greater opportunity while delivering only installment. Instead of delivering people to better lives, traffickers unjustifiably profit from the labor and toil of their victims, who they force through violence and intimidation to work brothels and factories, on farms and fishing vessels, in private homes and in countless industries. And January is a National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. We commit ourselves to educating an evil dissolving. Human trafficking is a modern form of the oldest and most barbaric type of exploitation, and we proclaim it has no place in the world, great nation or city. And this month we do not simply reflect on applying reality. We also pledge to all in our power to end the horrific practice of human trafficking that is pledges innocent victims not only around the world, but in our neighborhoods. More awareness and education is crucial to ending human trafficking in our communities, state and nation. And Flagler County Advocates Alliance, comprised of Flagler County Sheriff's Office Victims Advocates, Flagler Beach Police Department Victim Advocate, State Attorney's Victim Advocate, 7th Judicial Circuit Flagler, and Family Life Center are working together to increase public understanding of this problem and mobilize community efforts to end human trafficking. Human Trafficking Awareness Day is observed on January 11 in municipalities across the country in order to educate the public and raise awareness about human trafficking, and the City of Palm Coast has a strong commitment to social justice. That the Palm Coast Mayor and the City Council do hereby declare January 2021 as Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and urges its residents, agencies, and champions to support effort and take action to end human trafficking. Signed by Mayor Holland and Virginia Smith. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Gary Perkins, Community Relations Advocate for the Family Life Center once again. Two big issues, in the same month. So I just want to give the credit to where credit is due. That's my fellow advocates, because they're not just working on one issue a month, we're working on double that. Again, thank you so much for the support. But human trafficking is definitely a big one. One thing I don't think was mentioned in the proclamation is the amount of events that we have in our surrounding areas. And if you don't think that they come through Flagler County, you're wrong. So we just hope that, because it's such a big issue, it turned into a national issue. It's always been a big issue to us. And when you're supporting national charities, make sure you know where your money's going, because when you support local, just like when you buy local, you're supporting the community organizers and the community advocates that are trying to, help with this problem. And that just leads me to, we do have a golf tournament coming up this upcoming Monday, January 25th. And just invite your friends. Please help us spread awareness, because we'll be working hard all year until, we make sure that Flagler County does not welcome human trafficking or stalking. Thank you.
Before you go down, Brad, if we can do a photo, you can have everyone stand here. We'll stand up here. Okay? Thank you.
Oh, look how respectful he's now.
Mr. Vice Mayor. Okay. I'd say smile, but I can't tell.
Smile.
Perfect, thank you. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, which one is yours?
Thank you so much.
Roll them back in order.
I'm rolling them. Oh, that sounded bad. Keep on rolling them.
We'll now hear a proclamation for the Mayor's 90/90 Fitness Challenge presented by Councilmember Clufus.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas studies show that a consistent program of enjoyable exercise can add 10 more years to a person's life, and whereas people who reject physical activity have a greater risk for developing obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and feelings of anxiety and depression. And whereas working out with a group increases a person's commitment to fitness by enhancing the consistency, duration, and inspiration of a fitness experience. And whereas Palm Coast Mayor Melissa Holland has organized a 90/90 challenge to encourage residents of all ages and skill levels to join her in choosing their most preferred fun activity and work out the equivalent of 1 mile per day for the next 90 days. And whereas the City of Palm Coast offers the ideal fitness activities for groups to participate in, including tennis, golf, yoga, dance, basketball, pickleball, Zumba, running, biking, hiking, indoor rowing, soccer, and swimming. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Palm Coast, Florida, January 4th, 2021 to April 3rd, 2021, as the Mayor's 90/90 Challenge, urging all residents of Palm Coast to challenge their fitness levels to improve health and wellness, adopted this 19th day of January 2021, City of Palm Coast, Florida, signed Mayor Melissa Holland.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Lauren Johnston, Director of Parks and Recreation, and I'm here with Brittany McDermott, our Community Recreation Manager. We just wanted to share a few of our goals and highlights for the Mayor's 90/90 Challenge thus far. The real challenge and overview is we want and encourage our community to get out and be in their recreation environment however they so choose for 90 days and hashtag Connect to Fitness. All of the challenge participants will receive a prize. Some of our SMART goals is we want to encourage at least 250 people to attend the challenge. We want to log at least 25,000 miles and then also provide 90 different activities and ideas for exercise throughout the challenge. Some of our current statistics is we have 162 participants. We have 2,612 miles logged, 11,751 participants, minutes logged. Our very own Carl Cody, Director of Stormwater and Engineering, is the leaderboard right now, so we got to try and catch up to Carl. And this year, in partnership with our IT department, Blake Kershaw, Steve Harris, Director of Architecture and Implementation, as well as Communications and Parks and Recreation, we created a new team leaderboard. So create your neighborhood team, your business team. It's very simple to log into Palm Coast Connect and add those teams. And then we also have an interactive activity calendar where you'd be able to either register for one of our activities if it's staff-led or just encourage to participate. We've got our activities here. Some are new. Our Rucks in the Park with Jared. Starting on January 22nd, we have Walk with the Mayor and a Director, and this is really a good opportunity for our residents to meet and greet with staff and as well as you, Mayor Holland. And then with our partner Advent Health, we have Zumba on February 4th. So we encourage all of our residents to get out there and let's get moving. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll now move to agenda item number G6, which is an ordinance. Mr. Reichman.
Mayor, Council, members of the public, this is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Palm Coast, Florida, providing for an amendment to the official zoning map as established in Section 2.06 of the City of Palm Coast Unified Land Development Code, amending the official zoning map for 280.6 acres, more or less, of certain real property previously known as the Matanzas Golf Course and generally located between 1/2 to 1 1/4 miles north of Matanzas Woods Parkway, west of I-95, and east of US Highway 1, and more particularly described in Exhibit A attached to the ordinance from master plan development without a development agreement to Lakeview Estates Master Plan Development, MPD, with a development agreement, as per Section 2.09 of the City of Palm Coast Unified Land Development Code, by allowing institutional uses along US Highway 1, clustered residential uses at an overall density of up to 1 dwelling unit per acre with townhomes in the area located south of London Drive and west of Londonderry Drive, and single-family homes over the remainder of the residentially used property, and establishing view protection zones and wetland conservation areas, providing for severability, for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. Mayor, Council, this is the second reading of this quasi-judicial matter. If there have been any ex parte communications regarding this matter since the first hearing, the first reading of this ordinance, those should be disclosed at this time.
Vice Mayor Branquinho, I'll start with you with an ex parte communication.
No.
Councilmember Clufus? Councilmember Barbosa?
I've had letters from residents, just that, and I haven't responded. I've had a two-way conversation.
Councilmember Danko?
I had 2 letters from residents. I did not respond.
I, as well, had the same emails that came forward, and no response was given. Okay. So, Mr. Morton?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, City Council. Again, this is the second read. We do not have a presentation this morning, but staff is here to answer questions that council may have.
Council, I'm going to open it up for discussion or questions before I open it up to the public for public comment. Any council questions or comments at this time? Any member of the public wish to make public comment on agenda item number G6, please do so at this time. Go ahead. Yes.
Virginia, may I please present some of these things to the council? My name is Susan Shiverdecker. I live at 145 London Drive. When purchased home, I was told no one could build on the fairway behind me because of covenants and restrictions. Imagine my surprise 6 months later to find myself at neighborhood home private meeting with the developer and others. I learned that day the golf course was going to be built on, and the property is 10 feet from my mulch bed, as you can see there. Thankfully, the city has consistently said throughout this application process the developer cannot impede my view. However, recently the Planning and Zoning Board decided that the developer could move his institutional anywhere on Track 9 within 100 foot from my home, as you can see there. With this bold move going against the lien code right I have, the property assessor told me that I risked 30% value. I paid almost $400,000. That is going to be a significant amount of loss. The land code states that the council has the right to add additional buffer amounts on an MPD if the density is higher, which in this case it is. I am requesting that the council extend the buffer to 150 feet to ensure that the water for all homes will remain, as well as a tree line, lessening the impact, the value, and our line of sight. Please grant Track 9 150 feet buffer, like Track 8 received, given that we're having a significantly higher density than they are institutional. I'm only asking for 50 feet extra. I just think that's kind of fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next speaker. And I'll close public comment. One call.
And just by way of reminder, if you are on the call and would like to speak on this item, please hit *9 to indicate you would like to speak. You may speak now.
Hello?
Yes, please state your name for the record and begin your 3 minutes.
Okay, this is Vicki I am calling about the Matanzas Woods ordinance, which is going before the board right now. I am in opposition of this. It does not meet the Land Development Code purpose. LDC Section 3.03.01, and it does not meet the intent of the LDC 3.03.04 B1 Master Plan standards. In addition, it does not meet other requirements. It does not show any conservation easements, and it does not meet the Land Development Code 3.03.04 J, 6B, A through B. It has deceptive language. Lakeview Estates are not estate, 50-foot lots are not estate lots, and retention ponds are not lakes. The developer claims that the older Americans need smaller lots so they don't have to maintain a yard, but is proposing RV and boat storage at the end of Lakeview Boulevard, which is going to create nuisance with cars coming and going with large boats and RVs at that intersection. It is not designed for that. And it does not meet compatibility standards as far as the lots are concerned. It will destroy all the natural vegetation except the wetlands in Tract 1. And as far as I'm concerned, this project needs to be rethought and fine-tuned. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Is there another speaker?
3 more, ma'am.
Hi, yes, this is Leanne Pennington from Lake Success. The Land Code 30302, Section G states that when a master plan development abuts existing development with lower density or intensity land uses, the City Council may impose perimeter buffer requirements in excess of the minimum requirements established in order to protect the privacy of existing adjoining structures. Track 9 is a fairway with a canal. The city stormwater department has approved using that very canal for their L section stormwater project. Unfortunately, the 100-foot buffer imposed by the planning board is insufficient, and it ends in the middle of the widest part of that water feature. Could the council please discuss and consider extending the 100-foot buffer the planning board arbitrarily came up with to at least 150 feet, like Track 8, who were given, to ensure that the homes in that area are given a buffer that protects their view further from the intense use of institutional, and it ensures that that water system remains intact for the stormwater project. The developer's attorney verbally stated it would remain, however, there is no such guarantee with a 100-foot buffer that's been set, given that it ends in the middle of the pond. Your approval today of the planning board's recommendation allows for building on a fairway with a 100-foot buffer. You're setting a precedent for Pine Lake, Cypress Mills, and Palm Harbor. You really need to discuss the buffers in Track 8 and 9 and where there's a more intense use proposed. The Land Code does give this council the right to extend the buffer sizes given the higher intensity proposed on those tracks. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you may speak now. There's one more indicating, ma'am.
Yes. My name again is Celia Puglisi. I do not live in the Matanzas Golf Course, but I live in the Palm Harbor Golf Course. And similar proposals are coming to us, whether from this type of development or other types. And I will ask once again this council to lobby for the residents first, as our city charter says. We need our representatives that we elected, our city attorney and administrators, in these very few Matanzas Golf Course, Palm Harbor Golf Course, and other projects coming down the road for the other golf course, to lobby first for the residents. We do not oppose all those many plans from developers that you're receiving every day. hiding our green areas. We do not, but there are very few that we oppose because directly affect us, our quality of life, health, and safety. So we are begging you once more to please lobby for the residents first. I'm pleading here. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
There's the public comments. And take it, first, did you want to respond to this specific?
Yes,
comments?
Mayor. Ray Tyner, Deputy Chief Development Officer. The first speaker talked about the covenants and restrictions. Those are private in nature, and the city does not enforce those covenants and restrictions. The second speaker mentioned about compliance with our LDC. We are in compliance with our LDC. We meet the open space requirements. She specifically called out for conservation easements. Conservation easements will not be in place, and if they are in place, that is at the site plan level. This is the zoning that calls out, you know, on the 35,000-foot level. Any easements will be done at the time of plat or site plan. She also mentioned the boat storage. It is not a commercial use. Very common for a lot of high-end communities, such as Palm Coast Plantation, to have their own storage facility. This is what this is. It's just for the residents, not for open for the general public, just for that subdivision for the residents.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll take it back to this council. Council, any discussion following public speaking?
I do have one question. On track 9, one person mentioned that this 100-foot buffer would cut across that water. Is that correct?
The city of Palm Coast has an existing stormwater easement that runs through that buffer where it's part of our master stormwater system of the city. And that will be incorporated into the buffer as well.
Okay. Is there any issue in expanding this 50 extra feet? That doesn't seem like a large request.
That would be up to the city council. The planning board recommendation was 100. I will tell you, though, that the way the language is written for the MPD, there's flexibility of where they can and can't develop within that area as far as acreage. So when they come in for the site plan, we'll be sure to make sure that we, you know, site the facilities in accordance to protect the residents as much as practical. Also, in addition, when they come in for a site plan, they're also going to have to do meet our land development code when it comes to landscape and landscape buffers and those type of things as well as lighting requirements and not bleeding over to the residents.
So you have no opposition to extending this 50 more feet?
That would be up to you, sir, and city council members.
But planning board has no?
Planning board their recommendation was a 100-foot buffer.
Okay. Can I make a motion that we extend this 50 feet?
Well, you can make a motion for the entire development and add that as a consideration.
Yeah.
Would you like to make that motion?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so you're moving to...
We're talking track 9.
But you want to make a motion to approve the master plan development with the planning board recommendations and additional 50 feet buffer on track 9.
That's correct.
Is there a second?
I have some questions first, or
Need a second for further discussion.
No, we need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, now go ahead.
This lake that they're showing here on this, is this the lake that appeared, the pond that appears on the bottom of track 9? Can you pull up track 9 on there? Is this the same one that they're showing here? Or is there another lake or pond in there?
Yeah, there is, you can see on the southern side, there is some ponds within that brown area that's not shown on this map. There are some existing stormwater ponds within track 9, within that 100-foot buffer, where on the figure here, you can see the green. kind of falls within that area.
So this here is on that green space.
Yes.
And if the buffer is extended 50 feet more, are these things able to be used as retention ponds?
They are, currently, the city has easements over them. That is part of our stormwater system for drainage for that area. The developer will not use those as retention ponds for their development. That's what you're saying.
And so this is only on the south side, right?
You can, Mr. Hoover has an aerial. You can see to the west, adjacent to US 1 SP, you can see the existing facilities, the ponds there.
And in the plans, it was to build on the north side.
The plans were provided flexibility to either build anywhere within that zone with a minimum of how many acres?
8.3 acres.
That they can develop within that tract. So there's flexibility where it could be on the north, could be anywhere within that tract.
Can we ask the developer if this would interfere with his project? Or?
Yes, absolutely.
Would this interfere with the developer's project, adding 50 feet more?
Michael Schmento for the applicant. Simple answer is yes. It's not quite as simple as it's been presented to you. There are really no existing stormwater ponds. Those are old ponds from the golf course before it went defunct. They are no longer functional. They're filling in. So in order to work with the city to provide stormwater from your new project up there in this zone is a little premature to get into design criteria. But we're happy with the PUD the way it is. You know, we wanted additional things, and we came here willing to live with what the planning board and the city council had recommended before. So simple question is yes, it would interfere. Yes,
thank you.
Mr. Chimeno, can you be a little more specific on how it would interfere? I'm just not quite sure where you're going with that.
Well, I think if you look at it, I really don't have an existing aerial to show you right now, but when you begin to push further to the west, it limits development area. That doesn't mean that in that additional 50 feet we can't place trees and do development. You know, like Mr. Tyner said, there are setbacks. We had talked about before with staff and made proposals to City Council about having building setbacks from the property lines. That didn't get discussed. So at this very second in time, all I can tell you is that it begins to limit the functional development of that parcel, particularly in those areas. I mean, I think if you look at it, if you continue to go west, it literally makes that area 100 to 180 feet deep, which from a development standpoint becomes very difficult, particularly when you also placed on it a 35-foot height limitation.
How wide is the property?
In that area, I believe it's about 300 and something feet without having the proper document.
Well, that'd be half of the property gone.
It begins to encroach on the development area, yes, sir. But remember, again, staff did place additional restrictions on development of that parcel, such as lighting, such as setbacks, such as height limitations, density, intensity.
So with those additional restrictions, what are we looking at feet-wise?
I'd be guessing right now, but you're probably around 150 feet deep, 130, 180 feet deep. I'm just guessing, sir, right at this moment.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your questions, Councilmember Barbosa? Okay.
May I, just for clarification amongst the council, from what I'm understanding, the additional setbacks and additional criteria that goes into developing this track, kind of under the impression that even though it's a 100-foot distance here, that the actual as of construction distance would be over 100 feet. Is that our understanding as well? Is that where you're going, Councilman Danko?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. My question was, is it our understanding now that after these additional setbacks on this development, that the 100 feet would actually be more than 100 feet upon time of development because this building setbacks?
I'm getting that impression, but not anything specific. I'm getting there's some additional setbacks, and maybe it'll be 150 feet, but I don't think Mr. Chimeno was you can't be very specific on this, correct? Just so I understand.
Well, I mean, again, this is an agreement between the developer and the city. If you're asking, are we willing to consent to adding another 150 feet, the answer is no.
Oh, no, it was another 50 feet, not adding 150.
Well, I'm sorry, to make 150 feet, the answer is no at this point in time. When we come in for development, though, again, those setbacks, lighting and height restrictions will be imposed to minimize any impact on those residents in the area.
Okay, thank you.
That conclude questions or comments?
It does.
Okay. Does your motion still stand, Councilmember Danko?
Yes.
Okay. And Councilmember Barbosa, your second stands?
Yes.
There's no other questions. I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Those opposed?
No.
Passes 4-1. Okay, agenda item number H7 is an ordinance.
Mayor, Council, this is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Palm Coast, Florida, providing for the first amended and restated Master Plan Development, MPD, Development Agreement for the West Pines Master Plan Development, or MPD, generally located along Weymouth Lane, by also allowing single-family detached homes in addition to single-family attached homes, providing for single-family development standards, providing for legislative findings intent, severability, providing for conflicts, and for an effective date. Mayor, Council, this is the first reading of a quasi-judicial matter, so if there have been any ex parte communications regarding this matter, they need to be disclosed.
Vice Mayor Branquinho, Councilmember Clufus, Councilmember Barbosa, Councilmember Danko, any quasi-judicial? I have none. Matt, were you?
Yes, thank you. Again, Alderman City Council, this is the first read. As you will recall, this came to council and council directed to be sent back for further consideration to work with residents' concerns in the neighborhood. That was done. It was sent back to PLDRB, and per the original request, detached home side yard setbacks where there is no development will be 7.5. All side yards where there is existing development were increased to 12.5 feet to be in line with current development. Additionally, all the garages that will be built will be side loaded. And those were two significant issues that the community asked for the city to work on. So this is coming back to you for the first read. There is no presentation this morning. We do have Bill Hoover here available to answer any questions that you have.
Council, any questions or comments on this agenda item? Seeing none, I'll open up to the public. Any member of the public wish to make public comment on agenda item number 7, please do so at this time. Sir, before you start, I'm just going to ask the gentleman in the back, please to pull your mask up, sir. The gentleman in the back, please pull your mask up over your nose. Thank you.
Are we good to go?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Jim Sinello. I'm the president of the West Pines Homeowners Association. And I'd just like to take a minute to thank your Planning and Zoning Department, Bill Hoover, his boss, and a few others, and how this was treated. We were never out of the loop. We were always in the loop. And I think we came to a conclusion here where nobody got everything, but everybody got something. And it's worked out quite well. And again, I just want to take the time to thank him. And if you can take that committee and send them to Washington, D.C. to show how government is supposed to work, I think we'd all appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Frank Zadnik. My wife, Annette, and I own a residence at 71 Weymouth Lane in the West Pine subdivision. I want to just read a brief statement here. When my wife and I returned home from our summer stay in Maine, this zone modification process was already underway. We had been residents of Ormond Beach for 45 years, during which time I had the opportunity to work with the planning department there, and I had developed a familiarity with their process. We moved here to Palm Coast just 2 years ago, so I needed to learn your procedures. I got Bill Hoover's phone number, and I called him asking for some background information on the subject at hand. The one thing that I remember most of all from that encounter was Bill stressing that it was the goal of the planning department here to try to reach a solution that would be a win-win for all those who had a vested interest in the application process. I must admit that I was dubious at first, but at the time, as time went on, under the guidance and hard work of Bill Hoover and Ray Tyner, I could see that their goal, with a little give and take, was achievable. The fruition of this process has been presented to and been approved by the planning board. I would ask the Palm Coast City Council, upon due consideration, to vote in favor of passage of this zoning modification here and now to allow it to continue through the process to become finalized. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker.
Appears we have two, ma'am.
What's that?
It appears we have two callers.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
You may speak now.
My question was regarding Matanzas Woods.
That matter is concluded. This is a different agenda item. Okay, can you go to the next speaker, Doug?
I was just able to get in.
You may speak now. Ma'am?
Yes?
You may speak now.
Okay, I did have a couple questions regarding Zone 3. And I was
No,
wondering,
this is
since
a
there were two
different
maps,
agenda.
one was
I'm
all
sorry, ma'am,
green
this is a
and the
different
other was-
agenda item. This is a different agenda item, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, we'll close this. Did you have a question?
Yep, for our city attorney, I just wanted to make sure that my voting conflict still remained, and I didn't, do I have to refile my voting conflict for this?
It's been declared already.
Understood, thank you.
Hello?
Is this?
This is Rob Boone on West Pine Lakes. May I speak, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, Mayor Holland, members of the City Council. This is Rob Boone, 29 Weymouth Lane. I'd just like to echo the earlier public comments on this item. First, thanking the council for its wisdom in asking the planning board to take a second look at this, to take into concern the issues raised by the neighbors on Weymouth Lane. And in sum, I think what the planning board has done is come up with a fair, reasonable, and equitable accommodation for everyone that protects everyone's interests, including the cities. I think this is a win-win-win situation, and I would just, again, like to not only thank the council and the board, but urge the city council to approve the decision of the planning board as submitted to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does that look done? Okay. I'll take it back to this council and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the West Pines MPD amendment application 4499.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll now move to agenda item number 8. I'm going to read this into the record. It's a resolution approving an option and ground lease agreement with Diamond Towers for construction of a telecommunications tower at Palm Harbor Golf Club. Before we open this up, I'd like to make a comment and a statement. You know, we often receive proposals. This particular proposal was working in conjunction with our consultant, who was retained many years ago in an effort to fill the gap for cell phone coverage and try to blanket our city to ensure public safety was met and also accessibility. This is a process. It's a public process. So, when we have things on the agenda and the public comes to speak, I am very grateful for that moment. And I also wanted to acknowledge the fact that I took a tremendous amount of time after listening to your concerns, put a lot of thought into what I think would be helpful and appropriate moving forward. And I just want to thank you for the residents' participation in this process. I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for your understanding of how this process works. And I'm actually going to yield this gavel to make a motion to reject this location, take it off our master plan list, and reject the agenda item today, which would be the lease agreement with Diamond Towers. That's my motion. Do I have a second?
I second. That's the rejector, right? I second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Any discussion on this?
I'm just curious why you're making the motion.
Just thought about it, and we often listen to residents' concerns, and residents have concerns, and I think it should be taken off the table.
I agree.
All right, any further discussion?
Got to open up to the public, too.
Here, before I turn it
Yes.
up to the public, any
Yes.
other? Okay, I'm going to open it up to the public. Anyone wish to speak? Okay, just make sure that you have about 3 minutes, you have 3 minutes, and please say your name.
Thank you. Perry Matrano. I'm not a resident in that area, but I just think that what happened here just now was exactly what us taxpayers want to see every time. That you hear us, that you listen, that you make very good decisions. It's impressive. It feels good. It feels like a direction going in a better direction every day. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Excuse me, I'm in charge.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Do it.
Give me the hammer, the gavel, I'm sorry.
I'm just mirroring. I'm amazed. I'm proud to be a resident. I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you very much for you and all of you. I'm so proud to be part of a community like this. I had faith that you guys were going to be representing the people. You have a lot on your plate. As today, I saw so many things that you have to deal with. So thank you so much for taking a moment and listening to the community, and we're very, very grateful.
Can I have your name, please?
Excuse me, ma'am, can we have your name, please?
Yes, sir. My name is Andy Barr, and I'm on Cole Place.
Thank you.
My name is Elena Fitzgerald, 30 Cole Place, and I brought you something to show you how beautiful my backyard is.
Wow.
And I spend hours taking pictures.
Okay, yeah, we can't have you approach the podium. Yes.
I spend hours taking pictures of birds in my backyard. This is my backyard. I've lived there since 1977. I'm a pioneer of your city. I spent years teaching, using my musical talents in many different schools, ending up in Flagler Palm Coast High School as a choral teacher. My husband was on the school board. He was one of the visionaries that brought us Flagler Auditorium. I cannot thank you enough for this decision. It warms my heart to think that you listen to us. Praise God for that. And so we can keep God's beautiful creation in my backyard. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker.
Good morning, Council. Sorry you can't see me smiling right now. The reason I came today was to talk about the fact that you've been put into a very precarious position. When you became the owners of this particular piece of real estate in 2008, and then when it was assumed into the municipal fabric and as the 2013 budget. in short, let me just say this. Thank you very much for being a good neighbor, because that's what you are. You are a fellow neighbor. You own the piece of property, just like the people behind me own property in that adjacent area. And we really appreciate you taking the time to look at all this, look at the deed restrictions that were placed by ITT, and just thank you again for being a good neighbor.
Thank you.
Next speaker. Please state your name for the record.
William Furry. I'm a resident of Cole Place, and I spoke at the last meeting. And Rahan, I just want to thank you again for listening to us. It means a lot to my children also, because they have only two other children on the block, and they were going to move over this tower, and that was the only kids they have to play with on the street. And because of this decision, they'll likely stay, and I thank you for that and all of the council.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker. Hearing none. Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. One more speaker. Sorry.
My name is Lee David. I live at 6 Live Oak. Thanks so much. It means a lot to us. There was a lot of people unhappy, miserable over this, the prospect of this, and today you definitely increased literally the happiness of a lot of people here. So that means a lot. You guys did a good job today for a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker. Please state your name to the record.
My name is Bob Gilfillan. I'm a resident of Covington Park subdivision, and I'm very pleased to hear the motion that you're considering. I encourage all of you to vote yes. I was going to speak in terms of and concern about the risk of the tower, but I thank you for your thoughtfulness and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
Good morning, Colonel Retired Jim Challenger, Cole Place. Fully support your motion, Mayor, and would like to thank you on behalf of everybody. I recognize it has not been voted for yet, but I actually have hope now. My wife and I spent many, many, many sleepless nights over this, and our health was waning, and it just means a lot that you're listening to your citizens, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
Callers, Vice Mayor?
There's one more speaker coming up.
One more
Jen.
speaker.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Lou Vitale. I live in 9 Century Oak Place. I'm very grateful for your decision, and I'm grateful for Protect Palm Coast, which I represent, and I would like to thank you. I would like to know where the cell tower is going to be living, since it's moved to a new address. May I assume that? And please let us know where that place is. There are some other locations that are quite accessible and appropriate and city-owned property. And if you need those locations, I've already looked around and found great places to put it. Thank you very much. I am extremely grateful.
Thank you, sir. Any further speakers? No? I'll bring it back to the...
I think one of the...
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize.
My name is Celia Puglisi, and I have to appreciate our mayor and our council for hearing the people of Palm Coast. I am so grateful. That's all. Thank you, Melissa Holland, and thank you, everybody in the council, for this incredible support of the residents. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further speakers on the phone? One more? Okay. Please state your name to the record, ma'am.
Yes, it's Leanne Pennington again from Lake Success. Mayor Holland, I just want to thank you and the council. I consider this just a wonderful thing that everyone has done, the city staff for the sister courses for WE, the ESL section. We're greatly appreciative and tolerating us. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Are we done? Okay, then hearing none, there's no more speakers. I'll bring it back to this
Diaz?
Just to add, this motion is to remove this, again, to not have it at this location permanently. So this is taken off. If there is a future location to help blanket this coverage area, that will come forth on a future agenda. So what we're deciding today is to permanently remove this location as an option for the cell phone tower.
Very good. That motion has been seconded. Okay, before we go into any votes, anybody else wants to add anything to this? Any other comments regarding this matter? I just have one comment, and that comment is to my now good friend, if he allow me to call it, Jim Challenge. He was the only person I spoke with about this matter. He is a man of convictions. He is a retired colonel. Thank you for your service, by the way, sir. I spoke with his father, who happened to be my captain on training academy for the State Police Department in New Jersey. And he still remembered me, believe it or not. I must have been a badass, because he remembered me after 20-some years. Jim, I want to thank you for your encouragement, talking to me man to man, eye to eye, and I think that should be the way we out there should be able to talk, okay, especially without offending when we have a point in common. Thank you, Mayor, for this decision. It took guts because there's a lot of interest over here, and I'm pretty sure that, like Mr. Vitale said before, if there's other options, please bring it to our staff, and I'm pretty sure that we are not here to hurt anybody. We're here to see through what we just saw through, okay? People out there needs to understand that sometimes we are put in positions that we have to make comments and vote on certain things. Sometimes we agree with it, sometimes we don't really agree with it, but it's the best for this city, and I think that's what's happening over here today. Therefore, I'm going to call for a vote right now. Felicia, would you please?
Sure. Mayor Holland?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbosa?
Yes.
Councilmember Danko?
Yes.
Councilmember Clufus?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Branquinho?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Let me give you the gavel back.
We'll now move to agenda item number 9, which is a resolution approving piggybacking Pinellas County's Disclosure Council Services Agreement with Neighbors, Giblin, and Nickerson, PA for Disclosure Council Services.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, City Council. In anticipation and in preparation of our new long-term debt and ongoing debt refinancing opportunities, we need Disclosure Council Services. This is on an as-needed basis. We require the experience of an experienced and reputable legal firm to provide this Disclosure Council service. We're piggybacking on Pinellas County, a publicly advertised competitive bid request that was awarded to Neighbors, Giblin, and Nickerson. They are, in our judgment, in this request, the most responsive, responsible, and lowest cost provider. City staff is recommending to approve the piggybacking of the Pinellas County's Disclosure Council Services Agreement with Neighbors for Disclosure Council. This is an extremely competitively awarded contract, and this one we believe is advantageous to the city. As through the piggybacking process, we don't incur additional time and expense of developing our own proposals. Again, staff does recommend approving this, and we do have Helena Alves available for any questions that you may have.
Council, is there any questions or comments on this agenda item?
No. No. I love piggybacking.
Open up to the public. Any member of the public wish to make public comment on agenda item number 9, please do so at this time. Any callers? Okay. Close public comment. I'll take it back to this council. Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion with a staffing advice.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Agenda item number 10 is a resolution approval of restoration of fiscal year 2021 employee cost of living adjustment program, fiscal year 2020 city manager evaluation pay increase, and funding for 2 additional law enforcement deputies. Is there any discussion, council? Open up to the public. Any member of the public wish to make public comment on agenda item number 10, please do so at this time.
Perry Matrano, 207 London Drive. I'd like to compliment the city manager for doing such a good job. It's very rare that you have very competent people in that level that can guide and direct all right? I understand her very, very well. I've watched many city managers fail as a result of bad management, bad personal skills. And when you have someone who can guide and direct and get this to this point where people can get back their raises and operate the way they're supposed to and get 2 more deputies, how can you go wrong with that? So with that, I mean, I'm, as a person, as a taxpayer, I'm in support, and thank you very much. Great day today. Thanks.
Next speaker. Close public comment. I'll take it back to this council. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve a restoration of fiscal year 2021.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Agenda item number J is the consent agenda, which includes 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Any member of the public wish to make public comment on any of these agenda items, please do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. I'll take it back to this council. Entertain motion for the consent agenda.
Sorry, ma'am. You may speak now.
Yes, I had a question on Matanzas Woods. I know that my phone was disconnected and wanted
Yeah,
to
this,
make...
this agenda's item's already been approved, ma'am. This is not the time to speak on this agenda item. Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Agenda item number K is public participation. It's time on the agenda for those to speak on items not on the agenda that have not chosen to speak at the beginning of the meeting. So I'd ask for those commenters to come forward now if they have any items not on the agenda. I'll close public comment. Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 11, which is discussion by City Council of matters not on the agenda. Vice Mayor Branquinho.
No, I don't really have anything other than I want to thank every single person of our staff, every single one out there. They are, they were, they will be doing a great job, okay? And I mean every single one of them. I don't know of a person working for this city right now that is not doing a great job. Therefore, I want to thank them and wish them a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Councilmember Clufus?
I have nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Barbosa?
It was a great thing seeing the public uniting and the city uniting in this decision, and that it was a great day.
Councilmember Danko?
I have nothing. Thank you.
And I have nothing at this time. Discussion by City Attorney of matters not on the agenda.
Nothing, Mayor.
Discussion by City Manager of matters not on the agenda.
Yes, I have a few items. Thank you. I just wanted to address the comment received at the beginning of the meeting from Ms. Puglisi. And I think it's apparent at this point, but I had typed out notes when the comment was made that we are in fact listening. I think Matanzas Lakes, West Pines, and the Cell Tower Day demonstrate that, and these are great examples of community dialogue. We always have. I know the question was, why do people have to make time? We have made it a habit, not an exception, to meet with people internally. I know we did that on all of these projects. We will travel to the site to meet with folks, which I've done with several council members. Council has told us to listen to our residents, to meet with our residents where they're at. Staff is performing on council's expectations and directive, and I think that is very apparent. And I know council cherishes the quality of life in this community. That has been the guidance given to me by the mayor and this council to respect our residents and preserve quality of life and our amenities. People always have a direct line to City Hall, and with that, I heard several commenters today that still had questions on Matanzas Lakes. Please call us. We will talk to you. We will answer your questions. We're available to do that. If you missed the agenda item, we'll answer your questions and tell you what happened. I will echo on the comment made. I couldn't be more proud of the work that staff is doing, top to bottom, left to right, all over the organization. We really have gotten to a point where people are here. They want to be here. They love serving our city. Most of us live in this city, and we're grateful to be here. And then lastly, as a strictly a business item, I will draw your attention to sole source purchases. The list of sole source and emergency purchases has been provided for your agenda. The only notable purchase of magnitude is an emergency generator at a utility plant that had to be replaced. I think it was on the order of magnitude of about $77,000. We have to have the backup power to be able to deliver services in the event we lose power. Other than that, they're just a minor emergency and sole source purchases in the agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Well, fine.